And hello and welcome, thoughtful readers. This is on the shortness of life. That is the book that we're doing now, and this is where we slow down, read deeply, and make room for the questions that matter. I am Michael, and this is Michael Reads, and today we are reading chapters 3 and 4 of Seneca's book and the shortness of life. These chapters ask us to think about time, why it feels so short, where it goes, and whether we are living it in the way we truly want. So, before we begin, follow the page if you'd like to read this book with us chapter by chapter. And if you're joining live, tell me in the comments where you are reading from today. Yeah, let's begin with chapter 3. Were all the brightest intellects of all time to employ themselves on this one subject, they never could sufficiently express their wonder at the blindness of men's minds. Men will not allow anyone to establish himself upon their estates, and upon the most trifling dispute about the measuring of boundaries, they betake themselves to stones and cudgels, yet they allow others to encroach upon their lives. Nay, they themselves actually lead others in to take possession of them. You cannot find anyone who wants to distribute his money, yet among how many people does everyone distribute his life? Men covetously guard their property from waste, but when it comes to a waste of time, they are most prodigal of that of which it would become them to be sparing. Let us take one of the elders and say to him, we perceive that you have arrived at the extreme limits of human life. You are in your 100th year or even older. Come now, reckon up your whole life in black and white. Tell us how much of your time has been spent upon your creditors, how much on your mistress, how much on your king, how much on your clients, and how much in quarreling with your wife, how much in keeping your slaves in order, how much in running up and down the city on business. Add to this the diseases which we bring upon us from our own hands, and the time which has laid idle without any use having been made of it. You will see that you have not lived as many years as you count. Look back in your memory and see how often you have been consistent in your projects. How many days passed as you intended them to do when you were in at your own disposal? How often you did not change color and your spirit did not quail? How much work you have done in so long a time? How many people have, without your knowledge, stolen parts of your life from you? How much you have lost? How large a part has been taken up by useless grief, foolish gladness, greedy desire, or polite conversation? How little of yourself is left to you? You will then perceive that you will die prematurely. What then is the reason of this? It is that people live as though they would live forever. You never remember your human frailty. You never notice how much of your time has already gone by. You spend it as though you had an abundant and overflowing store of it, though all the while that day which you devote to some man or to something as perhaps your last, you fear everything, like mortals as you are, and yet you desire everything as you were immortals. You will hear many men say, after my 15th year, I will give myself up to leisure. My 16th shall be my last year of public office. And what guarantee have you that your life will last any longer? Who will let all this go on just as you have arranged it? Are you not ashamed to reserve only the leavings of your life to yourself, for yourself, and appoint for the enjoyment of your own right mind only that time which you cannot devote to any business? How late it is to begin life just when you have to be leaving it. What a foolish forgetfulness of our mortality to put off wholesome counsels until our 15th or 16th year, and to choose that our lives shall begin at a point which few of us ever reach. Take a moment with that. If a word, line, or idea stood out to you, share it in the comments below and let me know. And now we'll progress to chapter 4. You will find that the most powerful and highly placed men let fall phrases in which they long for leisure, praise it, and prefer it to all the blessings which they enjoy. Sometimes they would fain descend from their lofty pedestal, if it could be safely done, for fortune collapses by its own weight, without any shock or interference from without. The late Emperor Augustus, upon whom the gods bestowed more blessings than on anyone else, never ceased to pray for rest and exemption from the troubles of empire. He used to enliven his labours with the sweet, though unreal consolation that he would some day live for himself alone. In a letter which he addressed to the Senate, after promising that his rest shall not be devoid of dignity nor discreditable to his former glories, I find the following words: "These things, however, it is more honourable to do than to promise, but my eagerness for that time, so earnestly longed for, has led me to derive a certain pleasure from speaking about it, though the reality is still far distant." He thought leisure so important that though he could not actually enjoy it, yet he did so by anticipation and by thinking about it. He who saw everything depending upon himself alone, who swayed the fortunes of men and of nations, thought that his happiest day would be that on which he laid aside his greatness. He knew by experience how much labor was involved in that glory, and that shone through all lands, and how much secret anxiety was concealed within it. He had been forced to assert his rights by war, first with his countrymen, next to his colleagues, and lastly with his own relations, and had shed blood both by sea and by land after marching his troops under arms through Macedonia, Sicily, Egypt, Syria, Asia Minor, and almost all the countries of the world. When they were weary with slaughtering Romans, he had directed them against a foreign foe. While he was pacifying the Alpine regions and subduing the enemies whom he found in the midst of the Roman Empire, while he was extending his boundaries beyond the Rhine, the Euphrates, and the Danube, at Rome itself the swords of Murena, Capio, Lepidus, Ignatius, and others were being sharpened to slay him. Scarcely had he escaped from their plot when his already failing age was terrified by his daughter and all the noble youths who were pledged to her cause by adultery with her by way of oath and of fidelity. Then there was Paulus and Antonius's mistress, a second time to be feared by Rome, and when he had cut out these ulcers from his very limbs, others grew in their place. The empire, like a body overloaded with blood, was always breaking out somewhere. For this reason, he longed for leisure. All his labors were based upon hopes and thoughts of leisure. This was the wish of him who could accomplish the wishes of all other men. Again, if anything stayed with you from that chapter, please let me know in the comments below. So, Seneca's message in these chapters is clear. We are careful with money and possessions, but often much less careful with our time. He suggests that life is not always too short. Instead, we may lose much of it to distractions, obligations, ambitions, and being constantly busy. A question for you. Do you feel that you choose how you spend your time, or does your time often get chosen for you? Please let me know in the comment section. There's something powerful about Seneca's argument. He reminds us that time is precious because we cannot get it back. He encourages us to be more intentional and ask whether the things filling our days are truly meaningful. But there is also an important limitation to his view. Not everyone has the same freedom over their time. Work, family, care, health, money, and many other responsibilities can make it difficult to simply take control of one's day. And time spent helping others is not automatically wasted. Caring for someone, working to support a family, or being there for a friend may take time, but it can also give life meaning. So perhaps the most useful question is not how can I keep all my time for myself. Instead, it is what deserves my time and what is taking it without adding meaning to my life. Chapters 3 and 4 invite us to notice our lives while we are living them, not to feel guilty for being busy, but to be more awake to what we give our time to. So, thank you so much for reading with me today, all of you thoughtful readers. If this reading gave you something to think about, please like this live stream, follow me at Mr. Michael Reads, and share with someone who may need a reminder to just simply slow down. Leave one word in the comments. How did these chapters make you feel? So, until next time, where we'll be looking at chapters 5 and 6, live thoughtfully and make room, especially for what happens, and don't let distractions waste your time. So I look forward to seeing you on the next live streams next week. And until then, take care and goodbye. Bye bye.